All right. Well,
we are back.
We're back. It's been a little while. We apologize. Haven't had a whole lot going on leading up to the holidays. So
or after.
So the holidays are over. We're into January, and now it's time to start getting some stuff done. So we haven't had a whole lot going on. Oh, we hope you guys enjoyed Volume 5 of Santa Can Wheel.
Yep.
So we haven't really done much since then, but now it's time to start getting some stuff done. The season will be here before we know it. And first things first, we got to get this bar changed out on Kevin's car. So if you guys remember, second race of the year, I believe it was, Rolling W Ranch. Yeah, Kevin got her up on the bike and then started to cartwheel and come down on top of this, landed on the side and just mangled this side tube. So we raced the whole year like that because we just didn't have enough time to cut this bar out and stuff. So this is the first order of business. We got to get this bar cut out of here and get a new one bent, get it all replaced. We got some tubes over here that are, well, we don't know what's going to happen when we cut this loose. This bar across the front is obviously tweaked down. That bar's caved in. The upright's leaning way in, so we're not really sure exactly what's going to happen when we start springing all this stuff loose. But anyways, we got to get that. We got to get this bar out of here to start with. So what we're thinking we're going to do is just start up here. These bars are all going to stay. You know, this bar here, the upright. These bars are all staying. Basically, just this tube here is the only tube that we're going to be taking out. So we're just going to start cutting this thing around all these bars and just letting everything spring so we can get that stuff out of the way and go in and start really fine-tuning all these little notches and copes and stuff. And after that, we will bend the new side and start fitting the new side. Tubing's here. We got the tubing a couple days ago, so that's all ready to go. So
then we got to put the one buys.
Yeah,
we never got around to that last year either. But
yeah, so on my car we did. There's supposed to be some 1-inch gussets, 3x3 1-inch gussets here in the front and the back, which we didn't have a chance to do on Kevin's car, and we got to do that too. So whenever we get to that point, we'll do that also. So we got a long list of things that we need to get done, but first thing is getting this tube cut out of there. So we're gonna start whacking and see what happens. Yeah, see what happens.
Pissed. Really pissed. This is why, ladies and gentlemen, your first couple cuts, you don't use a cutoff wheel. I'm going to get a screwdriver or something. Spring action on that one.
Yeah. So we got the big chunks out of the way. Kevin just kind of got in there with the Sawzall and just crudely whacked off all the bigger pieces so we can get into these little smaller sections like this and then get the cutoff wheel in here. Because we need to save these tubes as much as we can, because the new tube, when we bend the new A, it's got to basically fall right back in the place where these ones were and this one was. So we got to try and save these tubes as much as we can. So we got the big parts out of the way. Now we just got to go in there with the cutoff wheel and see if we can't whittle a little bit of this weld out of here and save as much as we can so that the fit up of the new bars is good as we can make it. But
the A post is going to be about 1.5 inches off right here.
Yeah, you can see that upright there is way off from the back, and this front piece is way down, but I don't think we'll have any problem bending that back.
No.
You slide a big piece over top of it. Once we get those other pieces out of the way, I think it'll come. Well, we got even more of it cut and whittled away. Now we got what we're just left with is the back side of the tube that was there. So I don't know. I think if we come in here and just try and grind this weld away, might be able to like tack something on there and just like
break it off.
Break it off if we just grind that weld down, because there won't be a whole lot holding at that point.
Right.
Actually, not as bad as what I originally thought that it was going to be. This is kind of a nightmare up here where these two tubes intersect, but
had about a quarter to 5/16 gap had to fill because it kind of like pulled itself away. But
right, yeah. Plus, Kevin had to re-weld all this after the wreck because this was all broke. This was all broke away, so.
Not that the weld failed; it just literally ripped the tubing.
Yeah, ripped the tubing. So, anyways, we got a lot of this all chewed away. It's coming along pretty quick. We just got to get in there with the grinder now and knock a little bit of this weld down, see if we can't wiggle some of this stuff out of here, and then run a buff pad through here, clean these joints up. We'll be ready to bend some tubing.
Yep. All we gotta do is tweak these tubes back up square, and
yeah, we'll have to throw something on them and get this tube here, and this tube here are pretty tweaked, but we should be able to bend them back. All right, so we got the backside pieces of that tubing all broke out of there. We took a little piece of all thread and just kind of welded it to that piece that was still stuck in there. Broke it right out. Worked out pretty good. This back part's pretty ugly. We got to do some cleaning up on there, but now that we got it all, all the old tubing is basically gone now. We still have this one little spot up here in the front. We have to where that tube actually went down inside. We need to get that out, clean that weld up there, clean up a little bit of those pieces with the buff pad. It's gonna be ready for a new piece of tube.
He's got to tweak some bars back into place.
Yeah, we still gotta. We tried to bend this tube right here back up, but we're just flexing the whole cage. So we're gonna tie a piece from here down to this bar to keep this from flexing, so that we can stick this giant piece of square tube on there and start bending these bars back into place. We are ready for the new bar to be put in.
Yep, heck of a lot easier and less painful than what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it actually worked out really good. Those tubes are like really clean. So when we tacked the piece on, popped the caps off, went back in with the buff pad, cleaned everything up, and we tacked a little piece off here because this bar right here was wanting to sag down a little bit, so we picked it up. It's tacked off right where it needs to be. We come in, we straightened this bar, we straightened this bar. Like earlier I showed you that was like way out of line. We got that line back up this way. It's lined back up with the upright across from it on the other side. So this is ready for the new bar. So we need to bend the new bar, which we can't do that right now, but we have the tubing, so we're gonna leave that go for a little bit. It's ready to put the new bar in. Kevin's got a wheel bearing to change because we left front while we were filming Santa wheel.
Santa about lost a wheel.
Santa about lost a wheel because this nut, actually Joe.
Actually, I think the bearing was just going out. And then yeah. And then Joe's like, "Hey, your hub nut. You want your hub nut?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, because I kept having brake issues that they kept going away. And then later in the season, the last 3 races, I kept fighting toe issues with the thing. Well, when you jack it up and everything drooped out, the CV pulls on that and you can't tell that it's loose. Well, he literally went up there and just went, "Here you go."
Yeah.
Spun it off. So, be looking forward to going and doing that. Let's see how much that rotor destroyed the caliper mount. Jesus. I need to put a rotor on it. I know you guys are going to say, "Oh, that's why your wheel bearing failed, hitting with an air impact." Well, it doesn't really matter because wheel bearing's junk, so that's why I'm not concerned about it at this point.
This is definitely not the first of front end failures that we've had on this car.
No. So making sure that this hub is still good shape. See if this thing's kind of wallered out now towards the back. So add that to the list. I need a bigger hammer.
Oh God.
That's Jenga. That's how you save your boots on your ball joints, ladies and gentlemen. Question is, will this come out of the bearing? As fucked up as it is.
Oh, nice.
There she bees.
Yep.
You just gotta take that snap ring out and then take her over to press. Press it out. Let's see, we got some snap ring pliers.
Take that snap ring out, push that other bearing out, the new bearing in. This thing will be almost ready to go.
Almost.
Yeah. Well, the old bearing's out.
Multiple pieces, I was not counting on that. I was wanting to use the case to help drive the new one in, but here we are.
Yeah.
I'd say she was toast. She's wadded up, Waddell. So I'm gonna clean this up a little bit with some emery cloth, and we'll try to press the new one in. It's crazy, that thing's like what, 255 foot-pounds or 75 or something?
270
270
something,
something stupid to torque that. Which makes sense. I mean, like, your inner races touch, and it's like a bearing spacer. I ran them in asphalt racing all the time, so it didn't really matter how tight you got the hub. As long as the nut was tight, the bearing was always going to maintain its clearance. So, yeah, it's real cute. Well, we're back. But got interesting, to say the least. But
New bearing pressed back in pretty easy.
yeah, once you get all the rust and stuff cleaned up in there, but
Yeah, went back together pretty easy. So new bearings in, snap rings back on, and now it's just reassembly. So while Kevin's putting everything back together and assembling, first episode back.
rotor's cracked.
Really?
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna leave this thing apart.
First episode back since we did Sanikin Wheel, and the last time that we were out, yeah, it's even more cracked over there.
Yeah, it's fucked.
So, first episode back, just to get the ball rolling. Like I said earlier, a lot of cool stuff coming up. We got a lot of cool things going on. We have a lot of time this year to do some pretty cool stuff. So, like I said earlier, we got some parts coming for Back to the 90s. We're switching it up a little bit. Got some pretty cool plans for it. We'll explain that to you next time we're down at my place and we're messing around with it. We got a trip coming up with the shocks to take down to North Carolina. Kevin's car's waiting to have that new bar bent, so when we come back, we'll be fitting that new bar. And a lot of cool stuff going on. So stick around with us. It won't be long. We'll have a couple episodes in between, and it won't be too much longer, and it's going to be time to go racing again. And we're going to do a lot more racing than what we did last year, barring anything doesn't fall completely apart.
Which at this point could be anything.
Yes. So, but we have big plans. So, anyways, we're breaking out. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.
Like the rust look too. If I knew somebody that would get us a deal on some wrap, I'd do a patina wrap, like rust, the classic Northern Rust Belt, rocker rusted out look,
Right.
stuff like that. A couple bullet holes in the side.